Killer Cypher and the Fed, get down. How we doing that? Oh, V1, Brother J, X-Clan, yeah, exclusive. Return from Mecca, let's get it together, yeah. Sugar Shaft, we got to keep it moving. PXO, we got to keep it moving. X-Clan, we got to keep it moving. And the struggle, y'all. I'm an example of street knowledge and conscious living. My techniques so refined and gave my mic a blue ribbon. I galloped out the rat race and stressed me and tripping. Flip stealth with spotlights to master shadow living. I flip through the channels, do a little CNN, and it's straight genocide upon indigenous living. And you just get a snippet of the real to realness. No research, no knowledge. It don't take a big 4-year college to learn what it takes to put paper in your wallet. Common sense, yo, act like you got it. Act like they making plastics for every human being on the market. Word to Horus with no blaspheme, but I'll swing like a hawk to protect the earth's dream. In the matrix dream, knowledge of self must awaken. The stolen legacy is the one they keep taking. AIDS and they keep it on, terrorist attacks. Fear for breakfast, keep kids on Prozac. It's worse. Try to drown us black, why you doing that? Try to hold us back, why you doing that? Schools like prisons and every special ed pack. Children learning ringtones before they alphabetic basics, that's whack. Dumbing out our future, why you doing that? Pissing on our culture, why you doing that? Tainted information, I want the segregation between us and our rights, between us and one nation. We've been divided since Nimrod and Babel, along a building like Solomon. It's like we're just standing still in the gravel. We're so confused in our travel, we fought for freedom of speech. In silence cause we don't spit the tattle. So many corporate monopoly chains, buying leases to brainwaves, to sound waves. They tell you from your get up to your workday, get that ching-ching, and money ain't a thing. The repetition of negative data says it's back 2 steps in the ways of the evolutional ladder. Savage on the platter, savage in the rapper tells the tale of the war within. We never factored it would guide our youth and kill our street troops. Time to break the cycle and return to our roots. AIDS in the keep it on, terrorist attacks. Fear for breakfast, keep kids on Prozac. It's worse. Try to drown us black, why you doing that? Try to hold us back, why you doing that? Schools like prisons and every special ed pack. Children learning ringtones before they alphabetic basics, that's whack. Dumbing out our future, why you doing that? Pissing on our culture, why you doing that? Doing that, doing that.
This is Brother Africa Bambata, the almond universal hip hop culture.
Shout out to Brother J, that is X-Clan. Why you doing that? A question I often have for a lot of people. Welcome back to the Top Cast. This is your host, the incredible T.O.P. And this is a truthful broadcast, something that I think niggas really need to hear. And it's not often that you encounter people who are willing to have an honest dialogue and they're not just here to put on a show or make money. You know, this episode is entitled Negrodini, the greatest escapism artist in history, which is what the black man and the black woman is, but unfortunately, under conditions of white supremacy. Joining me today is a young man who is in my chat at times and also watches my content, who is willing to have this dialogue with me. And his name is Nanhiwaiyah. That's how you pronounce it. I call him Nan for short sometimes because I wasn't sure if I was pronouncing his name correct. How you doing, Nan? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, T.O.P. Doing pretty good, living day by day.
Indeed. Well, the conversation that I've been having, at least, since 2019, since I've been on Instagram and, associating myself with guys who do YouTube content, what I have come to notice is that you have a lot of black males who seem to be behaving in the very same ways that some of these females behave. So I'll give you an example. You get a lot of black men in this space, the manosphere specifically, but generally, the guys that's associated around it, who incessantly complain about the behavior of black women without contextualizing it. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said in my most recent Instagram drop, I even heard one guy outright admit that black women have been conditioned to behave the way that they do. And it makes me ask the question, well, if you know that black women have been conditioned to behave this way, why you got all the smoke for black women, but not the person who conditioned them?
Exactly.
Have you noticed anything similar?
Yeah, I've noticed a lot like that. A lot
Well,
of
speak
dudes,
speak on your experience.
a lot of dudes, they really blame the black women, but they never really blame the pioneer. They never really understand the circumstances that they was put in order to behave like that.
I agree with you 100%. And I attribute that to the fact that we as black people, for the most part, have a very, very poor understanding of how this white supremacy thing works. And as a matter of fact, this very popular YouTuber when I mentioned to him that I thought that white supremacy as a system is the same thing as war, he said, no, it's not. And so it led me to understand that black folks are confused about a lot of things because war doesn't necessarily have to have airplanes flying over your head or bombs dropping or bullets whizzing by you. And white supremacy is more of a psychological war than anything else.
Yep, exactly.
What do you think about the statement that I just said? How do you see it?
I agree with you 100%. One thing about white supremacy is that it's meant to captivate the niggas' minds. And so when they do that, then that's when they have total control. It ain't always about just going out on the street and killing. It's about how you can mentally manipulate somebody to do something for you. And that's what a lot of men are doing. And that's what a lot of women are doing.
I agree with that. And I would go even as far as to say that the same way that these guys are having this conversation about the misdeeds and or misbehaviors about black women is completely opposite to the conversation that black men should be having about our performance, in the context of white supremacy. Because if black women have been conditioned to behave that the way that they do, then the same has to be true for black men. So you can't really, the pot is not in a position to call the kettle black, if you get my
Exactly.
meaning.
Hmm.
But what I keep seeing is that guys make a lot of money off of trashing black women.
Yep.
And I believe that a lot of this started with Tommy Sotomayor.
Yeah, he was
It's
he
more like
was one of the
some
first
shock
people
jock
I ever
stuff.
heard. Yeah, a lot of that shit be ego and emotionally driven.
Hmm.
And then
Like,
once they
oh,
saw they could make profit off of it, that's when they started going even more harder. A lot of these dudes don't even believe experience the shit that they be talking about.
yeah, or either that, or what I'm saying, they did, and they still angry about it. The way I
Yep.
see it, based just on behavior. A lot of these guys are doing what's considered to be red pill raging on some kind of level, because it don't always have to be very obvious that you are upset with women for something that they've done. But as a man, from what I've understood how men are supposed to behave, you're not supposed to be complaining about how women act, especially if this is not your woman in particular. But I
Hmm.
understand that they speaking, from a group point of view.
Yeah.
And for the record, I'm not saying that what they're saying about black women is incorrect. What I'm saying is that you can't lay all of the blame just on black women,
Yeah. I get exactly
because
what you're saying.
at the end of the day, if the man is the head of the household or the leader, then how is it that white men and white women were able to come along and press upon our woman that it's in her best interest to work against herself and us?
Hmm.
Why don't we go take that smoke to the white folks? You don't hear no conversations, almost virtually none, no conversations about going to handle what, our business with white folks. In fact, what you hear is you hear a lot of black guys say, "Oh, that white guy's my friend," or
Yep.
"I love white women, especially if she got a black girl butt." And
Exactly.
that's another thing. You get a lot of these guys on the internet, and that's how I know it was about money. You know, we willing to do to women the same shit that we say that they do to us. But
Hmm.
you get these guys, and they'll say in one breath, "Fuck these black women," and then go lay up with a white woman after they have also said that white women are the group of people who recruited black women into feminism.
Exactly. That's
That's
rooted in
that's
self
being
hatred.
being a complete fucking hypocrite.
Hmm. And he contradicting himself.
Exactly, and that's the point that I'm making. And really, to be perfectly honest, we both, black men and black women, have our points,
Hmm.
but
Exactly.
we missed the mark because we too busy arguing with each other and not paying attention to the individuals who created the problem for us. I mean, I could be wrong. What do you think?
Nah, man, you totally right. You totally right about who created the problem for us. Because the feminist movement was actually created by a dude, and a white dude at that. And a lot of these dudes don't know that. They think
Yeah,
it just yeah.
my fault. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. They think it just came out of nowhere. They think women's suffrage just came out of nowhere and it came up and it was for women empowerment. But actually, it wasn't. It was to break up the family structure. That was the basis of it. It wasn't to empower women. We were doing just fine when we was on our own. But then again, when we integrated, which was also introduced by a white man, everything started going downhill.
And just, for a second here, I want to speak on deserving and entitlement. You get a lot of folks, I tried to have this conversation with BGS. You get a lot of folks who think that they deserve something just because they have a quality. But the definition clearly states that you have to show that quality, which means you
Hmm.
have to be of service in some manner. So, to get to the point that I was trying to make, in order for you to deserve something or be entitled to it, the prerequisite is you have to do something. You have to be of service. And in many cases, it's going to be for other people because you don't deserve anything from yourself. You're not
Hmm.
entitled to anything from yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, anything you need, you get.
Hmm. And another point that I made is that a lot of these black men have the conversation where they don't seem to understand that because we as men, or males rather, get our materials from the same source that black women do, then we should still be respected for that. And
What do you mean by that?
I keep trying to get people to understand that as a man, you can't be subject to other men and expect women to respect you. It's the same thing as saying that as the son of my father, I want this woman to respect me in the same manner. The son never gets the same respect that the father gets.
No, never.
And that's the dynamic between black males and white men, which is why black women don't respect us from a material standpoint. We haven't done For us to compare ourselves to white men, we have to have done what they've done, and we haven't.
Nope.
So why do we deserve respect? Simply for being existing?
Exactly. They think just because they're a man, they get respect automatically, and it don't work like
Mm,
that.
it doesn't. It actually doesn't. And another point that I tried to make is that your reward or your punishment for what you deserve or what you're entitled to is automatic. Because if you don't get what you're entitled to, that's considered a punishment. That happens automatically, either way. And I the to what you or are entitled to is based on what somebody else has to say. So, for example, if I have self respect, which I give to myself, only I could take away from myself. But if I'm waiting for Nan to show me respect, you never have to. That's why it's not guaranteed, because the decision is based on someone else making it and not yourself. And this is why it's problematic. But one last thing that I wanted to say is or one other thing I wanted to say is that there's an argument that we as black people built this country, but what we don't want to expose about that argument is that we think that we deserve to own the country because we built it. And that's erroneous. It's like, to give you an example, it's like if 10 Mexicans build my house, they're entitled to it based on the fact that they did the actual work. But the agreement was, I'm going to compensate you in another way, thereby relinquishing your entitlement to what you built. That's the same way
Yeah,
it worked when these guys say, well, we built America, you know?
that don't mean shit. You can build something all you want.
And then
Motherfucker could
on
just use you for their progress, not yours.
exactly,
Especially a
exactly.
motherfucker who didn't have your best interest since the beginning of time. They never had your best interest. You think they're gonna build a country up and let you rule over them? Come on now, be logical.
they're not logical. And like I said in the beginning of this broadcast, bro, a lot of people, black people, are very, very confused about what racism is. And
Mm-hmm.
so to help black people out, to do my part, I'm going to give you a definition that holds up so well that you'll make white people a little bit angry if you tell it to them. So we often don't describe or define what white supremacy is. So here's a definition that I find to be highly accurate. And the definition was originally put together by one Gus T. Renegade, the show host of The Cows, which is a shortened version of the context of white supremacy. And what Gus says is that white supremacy is racism. They're the same thing. And what it is by definition is a system of people who classify themselves as white and are dedicated to abusing and or subjugating anyone in the known universe whom they classify as not white. Now, if you take that definition into consideration, that's exactly what's happening on this planet.
Yep.
And to take it one step further, to expose something else that we are confused about is we think as black people that it's possible for someone to be white in a white supremacist society and not be a white supremacist. It's not even logical.
It's not.
And this is what one of our greatest misunderstandings that continues to generate problems for us. But as I keep saying, we really ain't trying to solve the problem on a whole.
Nope.
And that's why I titled this video what I did. Negrodini, the greatest escapism artist in history. Because
The
we
only
run away
thing,
from our problems like nobody else.
exactly. The only thing niggas want is a better seat at the table. That's it. That's all. That's all niggas want. They
They
don't.
they
They don't
want
want
to
to. They don't want
they
to
want to
address
be
the
the mop
problem. They don't
hand
want
on the
to.
deck of the ship instead of
Exactly.
being down with all the other slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
They want. They want a seat at the table. That's it. And then by saying that, I'm not saying as in they want to get. Well, no, I am saying they want to get put into position where they're not like the rest. Once a nigga is situated in himself, nigga don't give a fuck about nobody else.
Mm. Indeed, I agree with you 100%, and it's very unfortunate Very unfortunate. And
Hmm.
this is what I would say in regards to the guys, the passport guys. There's nothing wrong with going and traveling and experiencing new things.
Oh, them niggas.
I myself have not been out the country yet,
Me neither. Me
but
neither.
this is my understanding. To get a passport is like when you was in school and you got a permission slip to go somewhere.
Yep.
That right there should let you know that you're not free.
You're not. They
And
allowing you to leave the country. They don't have to. Just like a
exactly,
felon, or if you put on a no-fly list, they not letting you leave the country.
exactly. And my thing is, I won't be a hypocrite. And I'm pretty sure that this applies for, if not all, then the vast majority of us black men. I've been involved with white women before. But once I came to an understanding of who and what I was dealing with, I backed up off of it in an effort to keep myself as safe and sane as possible because I
Hmm.
understand what I'm dealing with. You
Yep.
understand? And it's akin to sleeping with the enemy.
Because then again, they already think they better than you, but they ain't gonna let you know that. But it'll be subtle though. It won't be
Hmm.
directly, but it'll be indirectly. They know you
Hmm.
with them for a specific reason.
They know niggas is weak for pussies and white girls with fat butts.
Yep.
But
They love that
what I was
cellulite ass.
what I was to finish to conclude what I was saying is what I advocate is that if you're going to travel abroad in search of abroad and you're talking about getting married and starting a family and you're interested in keeping it black, then go somewhere where there's other black people at. They could be
Hmm.
of a different culture because Africa and Brazil are full of fucking black people.
Yep. Yep.
I don't like to hear niggas talking about, well, I'm going to get me a white girl in Europe. You sound just as bad as you say these black women do.
Exactly.
It's like
You're doing the same
niggas
thing
is
that they doing, yet it's worse when they do it. The fuck out
exactly.
here.
When really it's worse when a man do it because it make you more feminine acting.
Exactly. You go out in search of a woman. A woman don't search for you. Get the fuck out of here. Come on now, nigga. You flying across the world to try to find a perfect wife. Get the fuck out of here.
They running from the problem right here in their
They
house.
running. That white man got them running from home. What? That white man done scared their ass running from home.
I swear, man.
America this. People gotta understand America is the land. United States is the corporation occupying the land. Don't speak on
Exactly.
America. Speak on the corporation. Speak on the beast. Don't speak on the
Hmm.
land. The land itself is beautiful, but the system
Hmm.
that's in the land is corrupt.
Exactly. And the BGS asked me when I was on his video, did white people deserve to be in power, essentially? And I'm just paraphrasing. And my answer is, fuck yeah. You know why? Because they put in all of the time and the effort and the work to accomplish it.
Hmm.
And
But one
if niggas put in that kind of fucking work, time, and effort, is no telling what we could accomplish.
exactly one
But I guess
thing that
that's just a fantasy, I suppose.
yeah, niggas believe they can't do nothing, so they don't do nothing. But one
Exactly.
thing is history is not so black and white, from my understanding. It would like niggas been ruling for millennials or how long the earth has been in its presence. Niggas been ruling. And from me reading books and actually getting situational awareness to where I'm looking at topics and then I'm analyzing it, I realized these white people got empowered through proxy. It was us against us, but then some of us was using them. And then when we destroyed each other, they came in the picture.
Case in point, the Moors in Southern Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And really, if we want to take it back, like I keep asking the question when these guys bring up the fact that black women was marrying interracially and being involved in the slave trade, what were black men doing when that was happening? And then to take it further back, let's talk about all of this shit. To go further back, let's talk about the Arab slave trade, because black women ain't had shit to do with that.
Mm-mm.
That was
Mm-mm.
mostly black men,
Yep.
or all black men. See, so that event predicated the one that put us in the condition that we in now.
Yep.
But let's pretend like what niggas was doing during the Arab slave trade has no effect on everything that happened afterwards. See, this is the conversation that these niggas don't want to have, because if you put the onus on us, we fall horribly short.
Horribly.
And
Niggas never
you
want to
can't
take
even
responsibility
when
or
you
accountability.
exactly and you can't fucking even try to compare black men to any other group, because you it's going to be very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But uh this is a conversation that I think is more important than, harping on every video being about what the fuck black women doing or what women doing in general. What I want to know is,
Exactly.
what the fuck should men be doing?
Exactly.
Let's talk about that.
Niggas so focused on the problem they never get to the solution. I see that with
No.
all these content creators. That's all they do. Every video is predicated on speaking on what women doing. What women doing. Oh, look at her, she doing this. Oh, look at her, she doing that. Oh no, you can't trust her, she doing this. I'm like, damn, man. Are you building yourself up? Shit.
Got gossipy ass niggas.
Gossipy ass nigga.
And I keep saying that these niggas
No substance
sound
ass nigga.
just like these goddamn women to me. They sound just like a bunch of cackling fucking hens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Me, if a woman that I'm dealing with is doing something that I don't like, I get her the fuck away from me.
Exactly. You don't keep her around because you want her fucking pocket pussy, nigga. God damn.
And
These
here's
niggas be
another.
compromising too much, and then they cost them at the end. They be like, "Oh, why that happened to me?" Nigga got telltale signs all throughout the relationship, but they never took heed to them.
And that ties into the next point that I was getting ready to make. A lot of these dudes come on YouTube and they complain about their own experiences with women. But who fault is that, sir? Is it hers or yours? Because you picked that bitch.
They be like, "She treated me like this. She treated me like
Yeah,
that."
because
Well,
you
nigga,
let
you
her.
allowed her to do all that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything she did, you allowed her to do. You just said no standards, no boundaries, or nothing, nigga.
Exactly. So here's something that I'll share. I don't have any children. And here's a few reasons why. One reason is because I didn't want to contribute to the statistics.
Mm-hmm.
Another reason is because I understand how this system works. And if I have a baby with a woman, she has to give me full custody of it, because I want to ensure that she can't make no fucking legal moves against me using my child.
Yep.
And if she can't give me that, then we're not having a child. A lot
Exactly.
of these niggas act just like these goddamn women, and they be in this fantasy world when it come to having these fucking kids. Oh, I'm gonna be a great dad. I'm gonna teach them this and I'm gonna teach them that. These niggas can't even guarantee that they could move around in the world without a target on their fucking back. So how you gonna protect your kids?
Exactly. You can't even protect yourself. Think about that, man.
They don't.
They got all
And-
these aspirations, but they never live up to them.
exactly. And then when you ask them why, oh, my mama, this bitch put me on child support, etc., etc. It's always a fucking justification. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and all I'm saying is, as black men, we need to sit down and have this conversation about how we are fucked up due to our experience, being terrorized for 5 centuries by white folks. But what I think will continue to happen is motherfuckers going to continue to act like it ain't true. They going to continue to make money off of degrading their own women. They niggas is doing the same thing they said black women doing.
Exactly. That's the irony in it. That's the fucking irony in it. They complain about shit that they doing, yet they turn around and do the exact same shit.
Exact same thing. Exact same thing.
And then a lot of
So
these niggas be using manipulative tactics.
that's facts. Like Common said, I can see the bitch in you, man. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying, You know what I'm saying? Because if you go hold black women to the feet to the fire, you gotta hold your own feet to the fire. And I know a
Exactly.
lot of these niggas like Shahrazad Ali. I love the sister. But
Oh yeah, of course.
let's expose really her similar the black man's guide to understanding the black woman. She did that, she did that work, she put it together to highlight the behavior of black women.
Mm-hmm.
But like she said, it was to put the black man on notice about all the shit that he ain't been doing.
Yep.
And I think niggas completely miss that, or they conveniently ignore it. But
They
I
went
could
through
be
one ear and
wrong.
out the order. I think they conveniently ignored it. Them niggas didn't want to hear that. They said, "Hold up, I gotta get myself together." No, 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 no. Yes, nigga. Yes, you do.
And like I said before, as a group of men, if we want a certain kind of woman, then we have to do what it's going to take, which is mean create an environment to produce her. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're not doing that, then what are you complaining for?
I see these complaining and insufficient niggas just like women. I see nothing different. These niggas ain't producing shit. They
Hmm.
ain't coming up with shit. These niggas telling you what to do, your thing ain't doing it. If you don't see a red flag in that, yeah, nigga, I don't know what to tell you.
That's facts. A
But
hundred
when
percent
you see
fact.
these niggas family, you see they got that Becky on that arm. They telling you, oh yeah, black women ain't shit. Nigga. Come get you a white woman. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not knowing that's
Hmm.
exactly what they wanted. That's
Exactly.
exactly what they wanted. Black
That
Lives
just
Matter even said in a fucking website, it was to destroy the black family structural nucleus, which is the black man with the black woman with the child, the original trinity. But niggas don't see that. Niggas just run away from their problems. They, oh man, this black woman did me dirty. Oh, she did. A black woman did you dirty too. Oh, she did you dirty too. Oh, yeah, black woman ain't shit. Now, don't get me wrong. It's some ain't shit bitches out here. It's a lot of them. They vindictive, manipulative. They do everything in the book to try to get you down. But at the same time, it's like, nigga, what are you doing to counteract that? You ain't gotta engage in every woman that you think look good. And that's what a lot of these niggas doing.
that's
They thinking
true.
with their dick and not their mind.
That's
And
true.
that's what's really fucking them
I
up.
remember that. I remember that back when I used to listen to all these guys when they used to be on Obsidian channel. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers talking about, and here we go, harkening back to that I deserve shit.
I deserve this. I'm a man. I deserve that. I go to work. I do this.
Hmm.
Niggas say shit like that. Niggas add gender role play into it when it benefits them.
Hmm.
That's the only time I see them add it. When it don't
Hmm.
benefit them, they don't speak shit on it.
Hmm.
They leave it a bay.
Like I said, a lot of these dudes, I really am convinced that a lot of these dudes got unresolved issues with their mama
Mm-hmm.
because they came on YouTube in the last few years and they learned how women really get down. They wasn't
Mm-hmm.
ready for it, and once they found that out, they had to acknowledge that. Wait a minute, my mama is the same kind of bitch,
Yep.
and they ain't been able to reconcile the fact that they love their mama, but she ain't shit.
Mm-hmm.
you know. But do you have any closing statements before we get out of here, bro?
Shit. I could say this. Disappointment may come, but let it come and bring the lessons of wisdom. Don't take it and make it a burden. A lot of dudes take disappointment with situations and circumstances that they're in and make it a burden and they let it hold them down. And they shouldn't be doing that. You should actually live and learn. Anything that's brought to you that's bad, try to make it good. Even if you put in a shitty situation, like, ooh, you got a shitty baby mama, or shit like this ain't working out, or damn, that happened to me. Yeah, shit happened. That's life. But then again, it's how you react to it what matters.
True indeed, true indeed. And like I always say, and I could be wrong. I'm always willing to concede that I'm wrong. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, these conversations is not about being wrong. It's about having the conversation so that we could come up with a solution. Because what the
Yeah,
fuck we doing is not working.
exactly. Talking about the problem all day, no solution, you get nowhere. You stagnant.
Exactly. Exactly. And as a black man, I don't feel like a lot of black men represent us like we should be represented, so that we can be respected the way we want to.
Nope, they don't.
You
They
know.
don't.
But
And
hopefully,
then, yeah,
hopefully, maybe next year niggas will be having a different conversation, because I thought this was about self improvement.
it's
But
not
I don't see how you're improving yourself by incessantly complaining about the behavior of black women.
exactly. They
You
complain
know.
about they part in it, but what was your part? If you're the head of the household and you allowed it to happen, what does that make you? But niggas be like, oh, well, crack and shit. Nigga, you have to pick up that rock and sell it. The fuck? I know plenty of
Hmm.
niggas from that era that they pick up that rock and sell it. I know plenty of niggas
Hmm.
that didn't do that shit.
And I can tell you, and I've said it before on YouTube, crack destroyed my family.
My
You
grandpa's a
know.
fucking crackhead, but he a functional crackhead.
Hmm. And
He one of those crackheads who would do it, but like he didn't lose his mind in the process. He always
mhm.
still was level headed. I was talking to him about it. He was explaining how him himself was explaining how Ronald Reagan and all them brought it in the hood. I was like,
Mhm.
damn,
Exactly. We will sell crack to ourselves, and we recognize that it's incorrect behavior, though we still do it. But we turn a blind eye to the fact that we don't produce it. It had to came from
exactly.
somebody else. You know.
They love to talk
So
about the drug dealers, but who brought the drugs to the drug dealers? And that's the issue people
exactly,
don't want to talk about. And I had
exactly.
a few other things of shit that these niggas had actually researched to get to the root of the problem of certain people who implemented this system that we in today, which is keeping us in this perpetual state of negative experiences.
Okay, well,
And
that'd
so
be
I could,
something. That would be something that we'd have to cover on another show, bro. I'm
all
trying to
right,
go
cool,
get me
cool,
something
cool.
to eat and smoke this joint.
It's all good. It's all good.
Well, I appreciate you coming through, man. I definitely appreciate you supporting the top cast and
Hell yeah,
watching
hell
my
yeah.
material. Like I
Nigga, I
said,
don't miss no Top Cast video. That shit be too real.
y'all hear that, folks? So if you want the real shit and you tired of fucking with them fake niggas, this where you need to be. The top cast with
The top
motherfucking
motherfucking
T.O.P.
cast with T.O.P. And catch him out on, what is it, Tuesday or Wednesday night when you be with Ro and Tone?
That's Monday night.
Oh, Monday night. Okay, catch him on
Yeah,
Monday night. The Kings of Comedy. Shit,
indeed,
real shit getting talked about. Ain't no
indeed.
just bashing women for 5-6 hours. I don't even know how a nigga could do that. I
It
don't even
ain't.
know how a
I'm
bitch could
not
make
even
up
here to
that much
bash
space in your
men.
mind.
I'm not here to bash men or to bash women. I'm here to try to get some understanding, you
Exactly.
know, because I understand things on a certain level. And I'm trying to get people to get an understanding on a certain level. But it's only if they want it. You can take the horse to the water, but you can't make the motherfucker drink it.
Mm-hmm.
And with that,
Mm-hmm.
folks, again, man, I appreciate you. You got social media you want to plug before you get out of here in case people want to have a continue the conversation with you?
Oh yeah, shit. You can follow me on Instagram. It's the same as my screen name, but I'm gonna
Okay.
spell it out: Nanhiwaiyah.
All right, you hear that, folks?
In the bio, it should say like evildoer/El Supreme. If you're trying to get in contact, or if you just like want to discuss some shit, I mean, I'm open to all conversations, whether it be about
Indeed.
history, politics, money, current state of niggas, because that's all I'm seeing is niggas. I'm seeing a bunch of niggas.
Niggas always niggering. But
Niggas
anyway,
always niggas.
his Instagram link will be in the video description below. After you click his link, make sure you follow me on both of my Instagram pages, the Incredible T.O.P and the Topcast Instagram page. Catch the Topcast on Anchor or your favorite podcast outlet. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and bring your auntie because I know her personally. until until next time,
At your
niggas.
own risk, niggas. At your own risk.
Until next time, nigga, I'm gonna take y'all out with a classic. Razzcast, Nature the Threat.
Oh,
Thanks
y'all
for
about to get
coming,
some
man.
history lessons right here. No problem, T.O.P.
Let freedom ring with a buckshot, but not just yet. First, we need to truly understand the nature of the threat. And a pale man walks in the threshold of darkness. Roughly 20,000 years ago, the first humans evolved with the phenotypical trait, genetic recessive, blue eyes, blonde hair, and white skin. Albinism apparently was a sin to the original man, African, so the mutants traveled north of the equator. Called Europeans later, the first race haters. So here's the devil's alpha to the beta. Cause history's best qualified to teach one. Quoting German philosopher Schopenhauer, every white man is a faded or a bleached one. Migration created further mutation. Genetic drifts, evolution through recombination. Adapted to the climate. As the Caucasus mountain man reverted to that of a primate. Savage Neanderthals until the late Paleolithic age. That's when the black Grimaldi man came. With the symbol of the dragon, fire and art. JK paintings in France and Spain to the Venus of Willendorf. Around 2000 BC, southern Russians migrating small units. Those who traveled west populated Europe. Those who went east settled in Iran, known as Aryans. 1500 BC, some crossed the Khyber Pass into India and created Hinduism. The first caste system, the origins of racism. A white dot on the forehead meant to leap. The black dot defeat, untrustable, untouchables. They wrote the Holy Vedas in Sanskrit. That's the language that created Greek, German, Latin, and English. Now the Minoans around 2000 BC starts on the island of Crete in the Aegean Sea. The Greek culture begins Western civilization, but Western civilization means white domination. Mycenaeans learned from Kemet called Egypt and Greek. It existed since at least 3000 BC, creating geometry and astronomy. This knowledge influenced Plato, Socrates, and Hippocrates. Cause Imhotep, the real father of medicine, was worshipped in Greece and Rome in the form of a black African. The word Africa comes from the Greek Afrik, meaning without code. The word philosophy means love of knowledge, stole from the first man. Greek power expands. The first Greek fraternities banned. The word gymnasium is Greek for naked. This was the place where adolescent boys were educated and molested. This was accepted because Greek culture was homosexual. For example, Sappho trained girls on the island of Lesbos, hence the word lesbian.
Hey, let these dumb motherfuckers know.
December 25th, the birth of Saturn, a homosexual god. Now check the historical pattern. December 25th, now thought the birth of Christ was Saturnalia. When men got drunk, fucked each other, then beat their wife. Fact is, it was still practiced till they called it Christmas. So put a gerbil on your Christmas list. The Hellenistic era, Alexander the Great conquers all the way to India, leaving 4 successive states. By the 5th century BC, Rome succeeds to be the conqueror of Egypt and Greece, but had the threat of the Black Phoenicians in Sicily. The Punic Wars began 264 BC. The black general Hannibal and Carthaginian peace. In 146 BC, Carthage fell after a 6-month siege. Rome sold every citizen in slavery, the first genocide of history. And more bisexuality in sight. Julius Caesar was known as every woman's husband and every man's wife. Spartacus revolt, slave rebellion at lost. With 6,000 slaves was nailed on a cross. Oh shit, Jesus Christ, time for some act right. Christians, get your facts right. His Christ was not his name. That's Greek for one who was anointed. Yahshua ben Yosef was his name. Do Christians know this? So who do you praise? Do you know his name? Or do you do this in vain? Accepting the religion they gave slaves to behave. Peep the description of historian Josephus. Short, dark, with an underdeveloped beard was Jesus. He had the Romans fearing revolution. The solution was to take him to court and falsely accuse him. After being murdered by Pilate, how can it be these same white Romans established Christianity? Constantine would later see the cross in a dream. In his vision, it read, "In signal Wonka, and this side we conquer." Manifest destiny. In 325, he convened the Nicene Creed and separated God into 3. Decided Jesus was born on December 25th and raising on the 3rd day is a myth. Plus to deceive us. Commissioned Michelangelo to paint white pictures of Jesus. He used his aunt, uncle, and nephew. Subconsciously, that affects you. It makes you put white people closer to God.
Yo, man got game like a motherfucker.
True indeed, fucking jihad. In the 8th century, Muslims conquered Spain, Portugal, and France and controlled it for 700 years. They never mention this in history class, cause old faiths are threatened when you get the real lesson. Moors from Baghdad, Turkey, threaten European Christians, meaning the white way of life. Hence the Crusades for Christ. On November 25th, 1491, Santiago defeats the last Muslim stronghold, Granada. King Ferdinand gave thanks to God for victory, and the Pope of Rome declared this day to forever be a day of thanksgiving for all European Christians. Now listen. When you celebrate Thanksgiving, what you are actually celebrating is the proclamation of the Pope of Rome, who later in league with Queen Isabella sent Cardinal Seminoles to Spain to murder any blacks that resisted Christianity. These Moors, these black men and women, were from Baghdad, Turkey. And today you eat the turkey for your Thanksgiving day as the European powers destroy the turkeys Who was the forefather? Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Let's fight the power. Get on the ground. Bitch ass niggas. Get down. Now around this time, whites started calling us Negroes. That's Spanish for black object, meaning we're not really people with property. And the triangle trade begins, they Elizabeth and from natives gave them alcohol to keep the red man intoxicated. Whites claim they had to civilize these pagan animals, but up until 1848, there's documented cases of whites being the savage cannibals, eating Indians. In 1992, it's Jeffrey Dahmer. They slaughtered a whole race with guns, drugs, priests, and nuns. 1763, the first demonic tactic of biological warfare. As tokens of peace, Sir Jeffrey Amherst passed out clothing and blankets to the Indian community, infested with smallpox, knowing they had no immunity. Today it's age, you best believe it's man-made. Cause ain't a damn thing changed. Let me explain. Now, since people of color are genetically dominant and Caucasoids are genetically recessive, and whites expect to be predominant, meaning survive as a race, then they simply must take precautions. That's why they're worried about the future now. Cause by 2050, almost all the Earth's population will be brown and black. So understanding that, whites counter-react.
I'm saying, man, the fools ain't nothing but a teaspoon of milk in the world color majority.
So they created a system to force blacks into an unnatural position that reinforces the position of natural inferiority. In addition, created guns and developed the ethnocentric view that God justifies every fucking thing they do. Condition people to perceive whites' culture as civilized and every other culture considered primitive. Not true. Racism is the system of racial subjugation against non-whites in every areas of human relation. Entertainment, education, labor, politics, law, religion, sex, war, and economics. See, blacks were 3/5 of a man with tax purposes intended. You think you're Afro-American, you're a 14th Amendment and a good nigga. Jews don't salute the fucking swastika, but niggas pledge allegiance to the flag that accosted you. They never teach about the breaker islands like Jamaica, where before slaves came here, whites would take her. Pregnant woman hang her from a tree by her toes, slice her stomach with a knife and let the unborn baby fall to the floor. They stop an unborn child in front of all the slaves to end breed fear so they be scared, behave, and not rebel, move. Understand, all whites must be perceived as potential predators. I paraphrase historian Shakamusa Berashenko. Understand that regardless of the lofty ideas engraved on paper in such documents as the Constitution or Declaration of Basic Nature of the European American white man remains virtually unchanged. So check. This is the nature of the threat.